finding their feet in the scene and aren't necessarily always going to show up and always going to give you the kind of performance you want out of them. You know, last time we watched these guys, we pointed out Poi as a player who has a huge amount of potential and has been picked up by players like JW as the next big thing in Swedish CS, but only to fall a little flat when it's really come down to it and not sort of found a vein of form to sit in. There's been very sort of hot flushes, hot and cold, and that's what we're going to need if Alliance are going to get the better of ESC in this matchup, is some of those youngsters, some of those young guns to show up and show us just what they're made of. Alliance, of course, though, as we get into it, starting on the CT side of Nuke. 2 Julies into the upper site as well, on the backs of Poi and Era, respectively, as ESC just waiting out the opening seconds in this one, seeing if anything's coming through from the CT side before they make their own play.
Oh, Twist spotted a little something. He hasn't been able to find the kill just yet. Still tempting and toying with it, but actually it's just a bit of a distraction, a diversion for the umming and ahhing going on in lobby. I think they've made the decision to try and pivot off of this and go and pressure Twist. And whether he'll be able to stand up to the test, I think he's still hanging around, wants a kill, now eventually backs away onto site, and a decision to be made. Do they chase him down? Do they head over towards Hell? Actually having a little bit of a look at both.
Yeah, it's an interesting setup, this, from the CT side. Avid is very isolated at the red box, and yeah, as his position becomes known, he's got a lot to do. Olymp has dealt with Oop in the meanwhile, but Avid doing a fantastic job to stay alive for 2 from red. Poi goes 1 for 1 in the meanwhile and buys his team a 2v2, but the lower site looking a little bit vulnerable here. Poi into the vents, has managed to drop towards Decon. Waits for that bomb plant, tries to spot out information, nothing given. He's just opting to death ball it together, but it's Era's Julies that bring death instead. SaMey Twists managed to deal with Poi, and Era, he's running out of bullets. Those Julies take their sweet time to reload as well. So that bomb continues to tick down, but it's the drive-by Julies. 2 for Avid, 2 for Era. Polishing off this CT pistol, just the start that Alliance needed.
But I mean, this is what we saw when they first matched up, is it was a pretty tight pistol round, and then immediately bomb goes down. ESC can buy, and this is what happened last time. They really, really hurt the economy and had Alliance off to a really bad start financially with a win in this conversion round. So potentially we see them buy on up, and that's where maybe some doubt starts to creep in. If they can secure this round's history, maybe it repeats itself, but I think the fact that it comes down to Era stepping up as an individual again it's early days. It's round 1, but I worry that we might be setting a precedent that we've already seen before.
Yeah, it's an interesting force buy from the T side. Obviously, bomb goes down, so there's a decent amount of cash to play with. A couple of MAC-10s flanking the Galils, and only a handful of smokes as well, which tends to suggest that you're going to go for your first choice of action here. No faking it, no mind games from ESC. Just going to be going straight for it. CT side not taking any sacrifices, dropping Oop down to an MP9. Twist the same so they can pick up those extra pieces of utility and really try and lock this one down. So again, just settle into these opening moments. ESC not afraid to try and catch a timing though, as Moonwalk charges on through on the MAC-10, and oh, this is worst nightmare territory now for Alliance. Oop and Era, a Molly and a M4 managed to scrape them back into this round, but 2v3, that bomb creeping its way actually down into lower. He's going to go for a free plant. They're trying to toy with their food here. Moonwalk stays on the upper site for the time being, hopes to buy seconds, but the CTs aren't biting. They've worked out it's likely the lower site, and now they've got a question to make. Does Era really want to go fishing for this? 2 M4s still up for the CT side. That wouldn't make a half-bad force into the next, and well, it looks like Alliance have decided that's the decision they got to make. They've got to concede this one and look to force up into the next. Twist trying to dodge the MAC-10 of Moonwalk as he escapes on out. But the T side aren't going to let sleeping dogs lie here. Twist takes a dink, and you've got to imagine they look for a little bit more of a hunt in these final seconds or not.
I can imagine Alliance cold sweats as they realize that they have fallen into exactly the same trap as last time. And yeah, you said they've saved over 2 A1Ss. There's a kit there's a kit on Twist and head armor on both of them, which is at least something, and they can force up around it. I don't think Poi's going to be able to have much more than this 5-7. In fact, actually, it's been a very similar situation. But early fight, pick up a weapon. Suddenly, this can get a little bit messier, but it's far from the ideal start that we were hoping for when we saw them secure that pistol. And ESC, I mean, goal of this round, just farm cash, farm cash, farm cash.
Yeah, gotta be careful though. 5-7s, as we all know,
Lethal.
backed into a wall can be very, very dangerous. Nice call from ESC though, taking that outside control again, using the smokes, keeping the CT second guessing what's going on, and it's almost a mirror of the previous round, but this time it's Poi on the 5-7, inside a mini, up close and personal, finds himself a double and just starts to put the cat amongst the pigeons here. Bajmi taking every fight he can, but he's isolated, he's out of ammo, and Avid will mop up, so we're not getting the straight repeat. Alliance able to hold off the second attempt at the upper site and start to make something of this nuke.
Beautifully done there from Alliance. And you talked about it, those 5-7s when backed against a wall or when they're in close range, point blank, they seem to be at their best. And not only do they peak one by one, they fall one by one. And there's an attempt to pull it back, but the weapon's immediately recovered. And in a position they've got plenty of time to ready them up to reload before they hit. Stellar stuff, and they've bought themselves a little bit of breathing room. So limited in utility, so limited by these limfacs like Olymp just on the Tech 9, although they're going to rush. Safety in numbers, more bodies than they have bullets, but Twist dispatches of the first two, falls back, and then there can be an activation here from Era, but realistically, he doesn't want to lose his life to this, keeps them in this ramp room limbo.
Twist continuing to have impact, catches SaMey, catches the bomb as it tries to make its way down to the lower site, and well, he's finally put to bed, but Poi is there to quickly trade this one down. And at this point, for the CT side, it's just about not overstretching, as Era does exactly that. Wanders through a smoke, gets his head taken off by Moonwalk, but you just want to make sure you're not losing any more rifles than you absolutely have to here. Avid a little fortunate to take the dink on the chin and finish the job, but 3 players up. A 3-1 start for Alliance, a couple of AKs saved across as well, and finally a break in the T-side economy as we look down ESC and realise without a bomb plant in that round, it's a fairly mediocre force, half by, couple of deagles, maybe some armour, but nothing more than that.
Yeah, I think the goal in this one is... I don't even like the Desert Eagle buy here on Moonwalk and Raiko, because it leaves their money still kind of in an uncomfortable, awkward spot. Yeah, they'll have loss bonus really racking up here, but the disparity is something that potentially cause some issues. Olymp gonna absolutely eat the HE to the face there. The smoke as well, he's not gonna get a line of sight to save his life. Raiko, a little bit of a look on top of the building. Footsteps gonna have been heard, but actually Avid not gonna show face just yet. Falling further and further back, and Era's just got to tuck in the missing piece that will activate the last second. And there it is, the jump on out for 2, make it 3. Poi, there it is, his turn to throw his name into the hat, and now 1 player remaining. Head spotted, HE to go over the top there just to tag him down, and everyone's going to be looking his way.
Lovely stuff. Just what the doctor ordered that. Fairly standard CT setup. Nice activation flash from Twist to get Era into the angle as well. And now we get into the properly interesting stuff. Alliance, though, looking very, very solid for their initial 4-1. Some good team play, clearly bringing some ideas from their last matchup into this one. As the AKs come out for ESC, good utility to back them up. Have been leaning towards that outside control fairly consistently. Thus far, only seen them drop it into an upper take twice, both times going through their own smokes and looking to pile the pressure onto Mini. Does leave the opportunity potentially for a change up here as those initial outside smokes start to bloom again. This time a close wall to try and cut out as much vision from Avid as they possibly can. Counter CT smoke is there just to feign the idea of maybe a push into Africa, but as Olymp and Raiko clear that one out, you can see the CTs are left second guessing themselves somewhat. Twist forced to drop to the lower site as now the shallow wall of smokes will enable the cross. And this time it is going to be the change up from ESC. Lower site looking to be the target.
Yeah, they've had absolutely no vision here. A second set of smokes has allowed them all the way down to B, and they're gonna have to start rotating some players down. They do have Twist here, player over on towards ramp, but actually could potentially just completely circumvent this, but they don't head decon. Instead, they head directly towards Twist. Footstep made but on him, but just perfectly. Moonwalk tucking on in. There's the trade. Era only good for one. Avid needs to step up, tries to get the transfer, will be denied. Now Barmy needs to have a little bit of something to say on this one. Oh, the timing is perfect.
Lovely shot from Bajmi as well. Raiko comes in to clean up pieces before it gets too sketchy. And that was one of those critical moments where you just felt that round could have swung if the timing was half a second earlier. They get down into the ramp, maybe they find the trade, but instead the backstab comes through. And at that point, the round is good and done. Poi left out in no man's land. All too easy to mop him up, find the final kill, and pile the pressure straight back onto Alliance's CT side. You know, CT economy in this game at the moment is a very fickle beast. So knowing that if this one goes south, it's not going to be a good look moving forwards. Era has managed to get the AWP into his hands, but limited utility behind it. Just the one HE to try and pop a smoke, and I think Moonwalker spotted him on the initial clear. Not that it matters. Full blind. Era will still find Raiko and opens things up with a bang. Just what you want from your primary AWP on a map like Nuke. Early impact, and already starting to put the cat amongst the pigeons, as now those second wall of smokes are going to come out once again.
They come out, and just as quickly they get blown up. That's going to halt them from even tempting that cross there. Hoping that SaMey can find a little bit of something over towards ramp for them, but hesitancy reeks from this team.
Really struggling after losing that initial pick. Looks like the plan B isn't quite set, although SaMey does get the better of Twist, and that does open up a real avenue into this lower site. The reaction's immediate. Avid is down. But as three T-side players start to swarm him, Avid's going to be in a whole world of trouble here. Tucks himself dark, hopes to catch a bit of a timing, does for one, needs to stay alive and buy time though, and as he goes down, that starts to make this really awkward. Era spotted out on the ramp, has got a lot of angles to cover, and with a plant coming down, a 3-on-3 retake into the lower site. How realistic is this one for Alliance? Got the kit on Poi, no smoke, couple of flashbangs. They need an early pick here. Era not being given anything, and Oop, just as he starts to swing, does get the dink onto Olymp, but again, there's a lack of util, a lack of damage dealing potential, so there's teammates there available for the swing. Moonwalk gets his kill, and at this point, it should be game over. Poi goes for a bit of a wander in, gets his head taken off. Era able to at least trade that one down, but he'll just be thinking about holding on to that AWP, because as I said, that CT economy, as this bomb goes off, is not going to look pretty.
It is not, and I think it's really important to highlight Moonwalk's swing there. Moonwalk anywhere else on the map doesn't get that kill. There's a real chance. They've got a very clear line of pathway into that site, but Moonwalk's swing on out completely catches Alliance unaware. We were talking about how, you know, needed one more from the Dark player, and it's just not going to be allowed. Nobody is allowed to get more than one kill without it being instantly traded by ESC. Bomb goes down. There's just too much to do. There is a little bit of utility, but two flashbangs. There's no smokes or anything to try cut off some of these angles. It gives Era just an impossible task. You'd be asking way too much of any individual. Now this time I think, oh, Twist, put it away.
You love to see it. Era going to be tested outside early, but now the AWP's position's known. Should be relatively easy, and well, ESC aren't having any of Twist's nonsense. A full molly clear. Forces him back into the ramp.
He's still going for it.
Oh, I don't blame him. He's got Avid there as well, so potentially you can have Avid, you know, pre-firing, force them off their angle into Twist's Zeus, but for the time being, it doesn't look like he's going to get the opportunity, as ESC just starting to double back into this one. Three players for the CT side currently lower after that initial push, so Olymp, well, if he clears out Twist, dodges the Zeus, catches the timing, which he does indeed, then this one starts to look a little sketchy. Breaks into the lower site. Not going to pull the team with him. Just trying to keep one of those players busy. And, well, he's done a fantastic job. It's actually the rifle and Avid that he keeps busy in towards that lower site. Means it's a free take on upper. And again, at this point, Avid and Era definitely looking at a save. Oop and Poi, you can afford to sacrifice the 5-7 and maybe get something out of this one at the death. The third rifle to save would be fantastic. Otherwise, even the next buy is going to look a little bit sketchy. Poi's trying to find himself a cheeky angle to work with, and, well, he's just about caught a timing here.
Yeah, they both sort of missed each other. When we talk about ships in the night, very real example here. Oop goes down, and that's the 5-7, so we're not too worried about it. There was armor there, but it's not the biggest sacrifice in the world. Ryko going to be stomping around. Poi's going to hear this. Maybe he's allowed something. Well, we have to be careful, though, because he messes it up, and he's immediately taken down. He will get nothing. And the two weapons we wanted to see saved, okay, no. Bajmi is going to dub back up. It looked for a second like maybe we're going to only see one of these weapons, but two will be allowed. There will be no sort of trade-off. There won't be any sort of consolation, as we said. You can throw just the USP no armor at the wall and hope that you find something, but it won't get anything. It's unfortunate, but they keep the bare minimum, and unfortunately scraping by with the bare minimum has hardly compliments at this point.
Always tough as a CT side, trying to manage that economy when you're on these down slopes. So we see Alliance take the timeout, try and work out what the counter is, because it does sort of feel a little like ESC are pulling the strings now. After that initial shock, we've settled in. The T side are manipulating the rotations nicely, opening themselves up space, that outside control. Other than Era's one miracle shot while fully blind has generally gone the way of ESC. Once you lose that outside control as a CT side, it is mighty tough. You really need to see Alliance, if they're going to go that way, maybe reaggressing into the hut, putting some pressure, taking some control away. But it's going to be faster this time from ESC. No chance to breathe as Bajmi bombs into the upper site. Moonwalk and Olymp get a kill apiece. And, well, Olymp just has to stay alive and he knows it. Drops. Makes his presence known. Avid's trying to check around the corners of the smokes. Twist, while he does deal with Olymp, realistically is in a losing cause already. A bomb down, the clock ticking. They want to give it a bit of a look in, but yeah, Era's got to be desperately careful here. Bajmi watching his every move, Mac 10 in hand. And yeah, as soon as it starts, it's over. The save is called. They need to hold on to these CT rifles because the economy is in tatters. ESC will have their fifth, and that's a really nice response, actually, to the CT timeout. You know, you've just spent 30 seconds chatting amongst your team. What are we going to do as a CT side? What's the counter to this slow outside control that ESC have repetitively been taking? And as soon as you come up with a plan, it's just a punch straight to the face, into the upper side. Clean kills coming through, and a fifth round on the board.
Yeah, I think one of the other issues has been that the site takes have been, regardless of the pace in which they've come through, the moment that bomb's gone down, they've done too much damage along the way for any retake to realistically be worth looking at. So a lot of these early rounds, ESC, regardless of whether it's in the first 20 seconds, like a punch like that, or whether it's in the, a minute and a half in when they've taken their time outside and gone slow, they've not been conceding anything on their side. They've been taking these opening picks. They have not been asked to pay their comeuppance just yet, though. Now it looks like they want to go straight onto A again. Punchy worked last time. Punchy might work again, and it seems that they've completely cleared out the site. And before they know it, it's already over. There's not enough players to put together around with.
Again, nice change up. Really feels like ESC are just playing the pipes at the moment. It's so easy for them to manipulate the rotations to their bidding. This time a delayed hit into that upper bomb site. They have hunted a little hard here, and Twist is aware of the possibility with Ryko and Moonwalk both tagged up. There's definitely a world where he can drop into this site and have some impact. Headshot onto the first, and suddenly this gets mighty sketch. Moonwalk 17 HP. He's got to play the time, got to play his cards right. Twist clearing his corners, won't quite find his man, and well, for a split second there, that got desperately sketchy, and the curse of the commentators really did nearly come through, but if we ignore the overhunt and the very near clutch from the vet, it was another one where they've just played their timings. They dropped the initial util to bait some nades out of the CT side, and then right as the CTs are starting to relax into that sort of what's the mid-round going to look like, how are we going to counter this aggression, what map control are we going to take, they double pump it into the upper site. Lovely flashbangs again, and A is looking like a real vulnerability of Alliance at the moment. Just not able to hold on to that site, despite some relatively tame executes, if we're being brutally honest, from ESC. Couple of flashes over the top, nothing too snazzy, and it's working for them every time.
Very much so, very much so. And in situations like that as well, the footsteps in the clutch, you know, Moonwalk needed to make sure that he didn't peek in case there was a kit, you know, had to make sure he was there just on time, but not that he's baited out. But he hears the footstep and he knows for a fact he's not on the bomb. So unfortunate lining ups there, and they won't get punished for their overhunt. Is the worst part is that mistakes made, not punished for it, might incentivize them to continue being a little bit cheeky and aggressive, and if it keeps on working, well, could be curtains there. Already 6 at the half. We said 7 at the half last time, and they're gearing up to do even more. Olimp held at bay by the flames, hoping to weasel anybody out, but it's Oop low on sight. Found Poi, so the support system's gone, and he is tagged down by the nades, but SaMey has to be careful. Player up in heaven, but he's got support from Moonwalk, and slowly but surely. Oh, is it going to be the knife? Oh, it absolutely is.
Just rubbing salt in the wounds at this point. Vajmi goes for the spray down, gets hold of Twist. And again, it's that upper sight, right? Picking off the pieces. Just cutting the support lines away. And again, consistently losing the outside control. Avid's had to rotate down. So there's no kind of fast flank, which is what you really need. If your upper side is starting to crumble, you need that ramp player to be going fast flank, kind of getting into the backs of the T-side offensive before it's set in the after plant. Because by the time a T-side has got hold of an after plant with a decent amount of utility left, even man equal, you know, 3-on-3, 4-on-4, it is a mighty tough task to retake on Nuke.
Yeah, especially
as it is.
Yeah, especially when they're going into all of these retakes with at least a player disadvantage, and having expend a lot of utility trying to have this control. And a lot of the time when they've been throwing these smokes, when they've been throwing these Molotovs, yeah, they've waited out the flames, but it's been immediately met. And, oh god, seeing that knife again, it hurts.
That one's gonna sting.
Final round at the half. How are you feeling about this? 5-7 half for Alliance. Is that good enough?
I don't think it's gonna be. The CT side has again felt just a little bit disjointed. We're gonna see some aggression this time though. Twist trying to take the fight to them, but it's red. It's all too little too late. Avid does grab one towards the outside, but the trades at this point are solid. The lobby crunch comes through. Olimp just fakes the idea that he's left the house. It's an MP9 drive-by to try and find him, and while the trade again is there, that trade's just not enough for a CT side at this point. Always losing that opening man advantage. The benefit this time is that they have got a low HP bar to play with. Moonwalk down on 2. SaMey really going to be left to do this all by himself. Gets the bomb down early. Buys himself a little bit of space. And the adjustment shot. 8-4 at the half. It's even better than last time for ESC.
This is a shakedown. Order up that beat just like it's takeout. Show me you got soul inside those new shoes, and you can rock and roll with an attitude. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. You're the new MC, you got the remix. Keep it on repeat, just let the beat kick. Everywhere you go, you bring the roof down. Everybody knows you got your own sound. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. This is a shakedown.
Well, we'll have to pray that the T side has seen more thought. Alliance backs against the wall here on Nuke. Last time out, 7-5. This time, 8-4. It goes from bad to worse. 7 on the trot for ESC's T side. Really need to see a bit of life out of this pistol here, FMC.
Yep, a loss on the pistol round here could confirm our worst suspicions, our worst fears that ESC gonna make even more of a meal out of Alliance than they did last time they played on Nuke. They've already taken the first step, better half, and ooh, SaMey forced on off. Oop, lovely find, but they need to deal with Moonwalk. He's only good for one. They managed to get back sight, but reinforcements are close by.
Yeah, still 2 players inside of this upper site. SaMey goes wandering, finds himself a kill. Fake vent still an option as well, but that's now being cleared out by Twist, who comes in for the double. And the late play into Mini seems to have locked out ESC from any chance of this CT pistol. Through the vent comes Olymp, was always going to have to be loud about it. Got one, but that's going to be it. And Alliance find themselves a pistol.
They do indeed. The fact that the fly-up vent even gets a pick there is disgraceful, but I was really worried for you. You could probably hear my noise of dissatisfaction. I genuinely thought Olymp was just going to sit in vent and hope to get a knife kill on someone dropping down. And I was like, no, this cannot be how we start this half. But they're choosing to force into this next round. I mean, we've seen them take away that conversion round from Alliance already once in the series, already once in the past. It wouldn't be beyond the realms of possibility to expect them to do it again. So Alliance need to be careful, need to be cautious. And Olymp, look at the speed he's gone hurling with. Already taken this lobby control. But unfortunately, 2 players dead. This has gotten a little bit messy, a little bit quickly. Round the corner, SaMey finds 2, but low HP on these remaining players isn't great. Ooh, Raiko playing with fire. Now it's going to come out on top there. Olymp with another one. Upgrades to weapon, but 16 health is not pretty.
Yeah, really struggled after that initial loss of 2 down towards the ramp. You could see the idea. The crunch felt solid. Just couldn't quite find the timing to get it right. Still bought themselves half a chance here in the 1v2. As you said though, low HP bar, never going to be particularly favourable. Footsteps will be heard, surely sooner rather than later. And the T side of Alliance just playing this one smart, doubling up. Should be a clean enough trade, easy enough to do. Olymp's going to try and creep the smoke. Catches a bit of a timing, and Olymp swings wide to catch Twist on the plant. Poi just not ready for him to be in such a tight position, and 16 HP. Doesn't take a point more damage to get him the 2 remaining kills. It's a clutch up for ESC, and a force buy that puts Alliance surely to bed here.
I mean, in the immortal words of Britney Spears, oops, I did it again. I stole away yet another conversion round from Alliance, and they need to stop letting this happen. They keep buying themselves advantages. They keep going into this with theoretically the better buy, and they keep losing out. And it's a little upsetting to watch. We saw them just unable to find these adaptations over on their CT side. I'm going to want to see something a little bit different, a little bit special from them here. An immediate bite right back with these Tech 9 would reinvigorate some hope, but it's an uncomfortable position they've put themselves in by allowing Olymp to steal away an absolute disgusting clutch there.
Not a great start, to say the least. Managed to scrap together 3 T-side rounds last time these 2 teams met. We'll have to see if there's any improvement. That's a disgusting nade from Olymp. Tags up 3, goes for the boost up. Timing on this is going to be a little sketchy. You can see the T-side, they want to press into this ramp. Boost up is red initially, but a clean enough trade. Buys a 3-on-3. Move down to 47, courtesy of that early HE. And this is where you start to see those fast flanks, right? SaMey's caught, though, as he looks to make his way down on the backstab. Raiko immediately responds with 2. And buys his team a 2-on-1. He's low HP, will still grab the dink onto Twist before he goes down. And this time it's Moonwalk left in the clutch. They're not making it easy for themselves, ESC, but they've bought another opportunity.
I mean, it's Twist's turn for the 16 HP clutch. Can he do what Olymp succeeded in? I mean, Bomb is needing to be retrieved. 30 seconds. Ooh, timing. Looks away and Moonwalk knows that he doesn't have to fight this. Moonwalk knows time's on his side. Forced out by the nade. Do you really want to swing this? Do you really want to tempt fate? And he gives Twist the opportunity. And Twists will capitalize.
Yeah, not quite sure what the thought was there. Wanted to get the kill, but a headshot angle given to Twist. The opportunity then there. You're forcing the hand of that MP9 of Moonwalk. Yes, you're low HP, but you've still got to hit the headshot on me. Can't quite do so. Alliance hanging on in there. Just about stringing something together in these rounds. This buy is interesting, is the word I'm going to go for. We've got an AWP on Olymp. 3 5.7s, 1 MP9, and well, that's the AWP gone instantly. Not the start you would have wanted. SaMey forced back by the Molotovs. They're not going to let you recover that AWP, mate. Not in a month of Sundays.
No, that is unfortunate. The super aggressive peak, but with the Molotovs, there's no fall back. He still tries to take that fight, and it's a step over the line and a step too far. 5 versus 4, weapons thrown back, upgrades found. And oop. Toying with it, slowly. Inching further. I say, just holding the line for now. I mean, they've got time on their side, so they don't need to make too much of a move and hope that ESC will play into them, and it looks like SaMey wants to, but they catch the slither and elbow, and that's immediately a switch up, and now they want to push Lobby. Raiko and Moonwalk, they want to give something for SaMey to work with, something, and he finds the first, spamming away, almost gets the second. Raiko activates now, toying with the corner, really needs something else, but both of them, as they peek out, get taken down 1 apiece. 7-9, that gap's closing up nicely.
Yeah, it was always going to be a tough force buy, but Olymp going in early with the AWP felt very brave. Must have thought he had a timing off spawn, but just not quite to be. This one now going to be a very full eco for the CT side of ESC. Not going to be able to afford much at all. Olymp does go for a little bit of an upgrade, and there's a few upgraded pistols being bought right at the death here to see if maybe you can just try to keep that T-side economy a little bit in check, because it can be all too easy to let it spiral out of control. But, well, none of that nonsense from Alliance. Clearing up HEs from above, find them 2 early picks, and already this one's a foregone conclusion. Just a question, again, of how much, if anything, ESC can do to damage the economy of Alliance.
Oh, they've got to do damage to any of these players first. 100 pristine points across every single player. Era just toying with them. Oh, there we go. Avid does find the life-saving hit onto Moonwalk there to allow Era to walk away alive. Then finds the second, and it's unfortunate. Yeah, it's just the pistols, but the fact that a single dink is the only shot that's going to connect there raises a couple of questions. Alas, now we go into a full buy. It's going to be missing a lot of utility, though. They've chosen to go heavily into those A1Ss instead of maybe play, drop down to a FAMAS, drop down to an MP9 with a bit more util. So maybe we see them switch up the pace once again. It worked pretty nicely over on the T side. Maybe a tonal shift is what they need to try break this rut that they're in right now.
Looks like the call is to try and pile some pressure on outside. AWP there to provide overwatch, but it's Poi instead who opens things up, and an early 1-for-1 trade. Not a bad look for a T-side whatsoever. You can see it's forced the control to be retreated from ESC. They've dropped off their outside play, tucked into the site. SaMey's going to go for a wander on his own AWP and is going to get the better of Era. Big pick to find. Control taken back towards the ramp, and he's pushing it as well through Trophy, staying scoped up the whole damn way. Starts to limit the options remaining for Alliance. Bomb still deep in spawn as well. Olymp spots out and catches a timing onto Avid. And off the back of SaMey's AWP taking so much control and so much space, this one surely is a goner. There's a bit of a timing available to him here, with Twist looking to swing for the backstab, but Bajmi's there to back his man up. 4 alive for ESC as their CT side goes back to winning ways.
Yep, good to see that, and we talked about it. They chose to back away from the utility, just going for those fights. And SaMey's walk just fully scoped up the whole way, uncontested. A single flash in his direction and a peek at any point along there could have been him, Gonzo, but they don't. And that's now 2 rounds lead, trying to re-establish this buffer. Because another setback and they lose that opportunity. Alliance, they are able to force back into this one, so we will get to see back-to-back gun rounds for, well, one of the first times in this map. And now Era wants the fight, is not going to be given it, is going to eat a grenade on top. And the rest of the team, a little bit of a poke and prod in towards lobby, over towards trophy, but...
just making their presence known before the outside smokes come in. Era gonna get the pick onto SaMey again. This time in towards Garage, just trying to get anything going. The counter is there, however, the smoke spam works out, and Raiko goes for more. Poi thought he had the timing, but the adjustment from the A41 is pinch perfect. And advantage again swinging the way of ESC. Just feels like these fights are starting to swing more and more in favour of the Polish roster. Olymp finds another. Avid and Oop left wondering where the pieces have gone. That bomb's been spotted towards red as well. Not held too hard by the CT side. You can see Raiko aware of the possibility of something coming in through hell, so he's got to pivot between a couple of angles. That gets his head taken off by Avid. Oop finds another despite the dink. And again, ESC just starting to lose their footing in these mid to late rounds. Moonwalk looking to stabilise things. A lightning fast headshot onto Oop leaves Avid 1v2 to try and clutch up. A smoke walk not going to work out. Moonwalk again good for a double. 11 on the board for ESC. The full rifle buy doesn't land for Alliance, and well, we're starting to run out of opportunities to make something of this first map.
Yep, running out of contingency rounds. Beautifully played. A couple of just really crispy shots there. Individuals being the difference maker. Timeout called. On a side note, I don't think I've heard anyone call it a 4A1. That's you threw me for a loop with that one, Wolfie.
What? What's wrong with that?
I've heard A1S. I've heard A4. I've never heard 4A1S though.
It's a 4A1 or a 4A4, isn't it? Oh, I'm feeling old here.
Well, it's got an M on the front. Usually I hear the M on the front or just the last two, you know?
Maybe I'm just weird.
I mean, Grimmy Ranar calls a molly a mollo, and my fight or flight gets activated every time I hear it. He's not wrong. It is a molotov, but it just feels wrong, you know?
Yeah, it makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, doesn't it?
Just a little bit, just a little bit. We all have our little quirks, but all right.
A hair-raising round here from Alliance.
Exactly. This is kind of do or die for them. They will have a buy round after this, but they will have no room to ease off the gas here, and anything they can find in this round would be gold to them.
3 techs, 2 P250s. We've seen more from less. Rico, though, deals with the first early. Poi goes down outside. Just not getting the same return that ESC were on their T side. SaMey baited out the first shot, hangs around a little while longer, knowing that Olymp is there to support. And, well, as they look to swarm the AWPer, the saved AK-47 does a lot of the heavy lifting. Then they don't clear their corners properly, and Era grabs himself a double out of nowhere before he's finally put to bed. It's a nice consolation prize from the T side of Alliance, but realistically, it's not going to have all that much of an impact. It still will be the buy from ESC. And it still will be getting towards Last Chance Saloon here on Nuke for Alliance.
Yep, and doing economic damage is only relevant if there's still rounds left to play. You know, they have enough to go into this next round, so there's no long-term impact. You really need to string a couple together before you're seeing anything, and you're going to need to keep that up. So all they've done is maybe lessen a little bit of the utility. I say they lessen the utility. It's just been a decision not to buy it, it would seem.
Make the decision. If you're going to crunch, then the utility might be a foregone conclusion. Don't really need to be buying nades on players who are swarming into the lobby. Doesn't work out for them, however. Twist, wise to their tricks, gets an early kill. Olymp and Moonwalk, though, immediately find responses. Moonwalk managing to sneak his way onto T roof. Off the back of that initial lobby crunch, ducks back in, and well, Hero tagged down low in and amongst the chaos as well. just not letting Alliance settle here, ESC. Everything is a fight. Everything is a scrap. And as SaMey wolf bangs down Twist, this one is feeling like it's done and dusted. Oop to try and pick up the pieces, but it was never going to be the exact same score as ESC take Nuke 13-8 and get their map pick over the line against Alliance.
Yep, very reminiscent. And we said, are we going to be seeing history repeat itself? Nigh on exactly. You know, it's only about a week later, and it seems like step one, check. ESC, they just seemed a little bit quicker on it. There was a nice couple of rounds put together by Alliance, but we were talking about the fact in the break, weren't we, Clash on this map? The difference between the numbers SaMey was putting up and the numbers Era were putting up was something otherworldly, and a lot of that is in the opening kills department as well. Is it just felt that Alliance could do no wrong with the opening picks, and that's sort of the entryway into, you know, the round, is if you can find that opening pick. That's what ESC were really driving home the point with, is in Nuke, was that they'd run in, they'd find an opening pick, and by the time that, you know, you could formulate a mid-round plan, it was already out of date. You were already at a point where you just had to save these weapons. So something a little bit earlier on in the round, just to try keep ESC on their toes and stop them having their grubby mitts all over the early round advantage, would be beneficial. But alas, we will kick off the pistol round, and we'll put to bed our speculations, and we'll see actually what happens in the server.
Interestingly, it is actually the CT side start opted for by ESC. Did debate a little bit if they would be brave enough to go for that one and make something of it, and they have done just that. Early smokes baited out towards B. Alliance just taking some bracket controllers. Now the util comes over the top, and this is where you need your big players to show up. SaMey with an early headshot, but the trade is instant, and now that A site starts to feel a little lonely. Moonwalk knows he's got to make his play. He's got to get something for his team, and he does just that. Grabs a second from up on the balcony before he goes down, but it's Twist responding with a double of his own before the Julies of Olymp through the smoke drop that bomb and buy a 2-on-1 for this CT side. They want to press Twist, but they do it one by one, and he takes their heads with glee. Alliance once again have themselves a pistol and an opportunity to put some early pressure on ESC, who instantly call the timeout.
I don't blame them. Although I feel like Bajmi not being in the server, maybe this is more of the technical variety than the tactical. But I think this is sort of a recurring theme we're seeing in these pistol rounds, is that it looks really good for ESC, it looks really good for ESC, and then suddenly, one by one at the end, they peek on out, and it all goes kind of belly up very quickly, and in the last second, when realistically, they've got a handle on it, and they're just, I don't want to say they're overthinking, I think maybe underthinking it a little bit.
Yeah, and that one felt just a little sketchy, to be honest. You know, you've got yourselves into the 2-on-1, you've put yourselves in a really strong position, then someone's mucking about with flashes, someone's trying to swing early, and then you're taking 1v1s against the Glock, close range. It's just never a great place to be. And again, Twist plays it to perfection, pops himself on the headshot angle, says, I'm going to give you the toughest shot I possibly can, and takes full advantage when they do. Swings in, a couple of really nice headshots. The problem is that Alliance had both the pistols on Nuke as well, if I'm not mistaken, and then promptly lost the second round conversion. So
yep,
definitely a little bit of PTSD here, and they will want to put that to bed, right? Get back into a nice, clean conversion with 4 MAC-10s on the board, perhaps helped by the fact that traditionally Force's second round, they're never particularly great on a map like Inferno. You really need that util as a CT side to make them work, so you don't very often see these ones working out. We're going to get it going either way. A Mag-7 in the hand of Moonwalk, a handful of MP9s. Bajmi drops down onto the 5-7, and you can see where the struggles are going to begin, because there's already only a single smoke, a handful of flashbangs available, really no ability for ESC to stall this one out or to just slow down the inevitable rise of Alliance as they take early map control.
Yeah. And having a little bit of a poke and prod, they're not going to have any resistance over towards B. And if they realize that pretty quickly, they can just pivot. It is only going to be Olymp over there to try and deal with it. Otherwise, they've got to try swing out, take this fight in mid. And Avid's got 2. There has been responses, though. But unfortunately, with Twist finding one and Oop finding the other, that leaves Bajmi, the solo player, trying to piece something together. Long range with the SMGs on all fronts, realistically, but it is going to be Twists to close this one on out, and Forceby put to bed pretty dominantly there.
That was Twist blinded through a smoke as well, which is going to sting a little bit. Because initially it looks solid, right? You're 3-on-3. You've still got a smoke down, buying you a little bit of time over towards B. You can see how ESC would have planned to scale that round into something, but just gutted from them just before it really starts to get interesting. This one, even less likely than the previous. A handful of upgraded pistols. Rico does overinvest slightly. Grabs himself an MP9 and a bit of Kevlar in the hopes that maybe he can get something done towards the top of Banana, but he's going to be put under pressure here. The nade's raining in, trying to bait in that deagle, trying to give Rico just an opportunity to swing on something, but as the nade clears out the first, this corner clearance should be relatively simple. Rico does well to get one, and good damage onto the second as well, but damage just isn't quite going to be enough here. He needed a second kill, needed to really put the cat amongst the pigeons. That's not happened, and these remaining pistols are all stranded towards the A-bomb site where they're slowly but surely being picked off.
Yep, the plus side is they don't have to be stranded for all too long. Moonwalk finds a very quick fate, and SaMey hoping maybe he doesn't have to drag this out for too much longer. That bomb still isn't committed to either side, but when it's a 1 versus 4, the world's your oyster. But they are still taking this incredibly slowly for a team that has all of the advantage they could ever wish for. SaMey has an opportunity here to potentially cut off Oop on the meetup with his teammate. Alternatively, SaMey's going to be the one that ends up in a watery grave. And 3-0 is how we will kick this map off.
Much better start from Alliance, just doing the simple things well. Relatively clean clear. I mean, Reiko nearly got a lot done, but a jump spot round the corner, trades it out, and at that point just stripping the remaining pistols of any impact before life gets too scary. This is where it's going to get fun though. ESC, first rifle buy is out, full util is available. This is the first time where if they wanted to go for some hijinks on the CT side, they'd have the utility and firepower to back it up. And as a result, you can see Alliance taking the time out, taking those extra seconds to think through how they want to approach this round. 4 rifles and an SMG. Plenty of utility to play it however you so please. Could see something fast here with Twist potentially. Try and get him into an early enable position. Maybe up Banana. Maybe even just straight up mid with flashes to support. Try and get that MP9 working out early on. Use it to gain information. All 4 out of 5 players rather, with head armor for the CT side of ESC. So Rico, potentially if you can sniff him out, the most vulnerable to it. But here we go, relatively standard split. Bottom Banana smoke's going to start to come in off spawns from the CT side as they want to put some pressure on there. And well, it will mean the opening map control is at least more hotly contested than it has been previously.
Very much so. HE goes over the top, and oh, it is devastating. Health bars go awry. Reiko finds the first. And now very cautious not to overextend. They're going to throw in the utility. Happy not to try and swing and take these fights. No, and that's where they've been caught with their hands slapped out of the cookie jar and just play these sites. They have to make their way over to you eventually, and you've done enough damage to start this off with. And now you can tell a little bit of hesitancy. They have sent Oop having a bit of a look to make sure they're not being followed, and actually there isn't, but the rotate from SaMey's come over all the same. Now util over the top. They've got a smoke over towards CT, but I don't think that's going to be listened to at all. SaMey's going to make sure to get ahead of it before they can even arrive. Bit of a spray on through is not going to spot anything, and now it's going to be down to Olin, but the flash is perfect.
Lovely flashbang. Rico blinded up, doing all he can and swinging away. Grabs a second on the fade. Keeps his team in the ascendancy for now. Oop's going to get that bomb down, using the pillar as cover. Buys an afterplant 2 on 3. There's a fast flank already coming in here from Moonwalk. So a game of timing starts to come through. Oop, though, does the better. Swings wide, gets Bajmi in towards CT early, and now this starts to get really sketchy. This flank needs to come in now, and it does. Moonwalk gets one. Last man inside of the site goes for the hero play. It doesn't quite land. The defuse will come through, but not a bad shout at all from Alliance. Did very well in the afterplant to make it as sketchy as it was, and well, still taking 3 rifles away from the CT side isn't going to let their economy settle whatsoever.
No, it's not going to let their economy settle, and that is going to be something that will hopefully help them hold at bay any of this sort of come back into this to stop them advancing and leveling the scoreboard here. But at the end of the day, ESC, it's expensive, but it's a round on the board, and it's one step closer to that win condition. And at this point, you do need to be putting those rounds on the board. That's the primary focus. If you can keep weapons in hands, that makes it a little bit easier to achieve that going forward and forward and forward. But a round is maybe the leg up that they need. Era this time, AWP in hand, getting aggressive towards mid, and Aiko, ooh, tagged up. The HEs have been brutal here. Poise spots the Molotov at his feet, but it's not spreading for now. Will be allowed just to sit in this cubby.
Not quite the same level of utility damage as last time down Banana, but chips nonetheless. Interesting to see Era bringing out that T-side AWP so early. It's a map that you can really struggle to have impact with it, so we'll have to wait and see what he can bring. CTs have dumped a lot of early util into this control again, though. Just a couple of smokes remaining. One in the hands of Olymp towards top of Banana. Poi reads it like a book. The wall bang onto Reiko, and you can see Olymp feeling a little bit pressurized here. Drops a smoke, plays ahead of it to see if maybe he can get the pick back. Not to be. Forced to retreat into the safety of the site, and with a three-man rotate over towards B, if Alliance start to read into this one a little bit, it's going to get very, very ugly for the CT side of ESC, and that's exactly what's starting to happen here. Moonwalk solo on the balcony, on the off angle. He's going to be up against the full might of this T side here. Counter-aggression is coming in from the CTs, but it's going to be too little too late, as already we're making our way up past bracket and in towards this A site. It's going to be Moonwalk against the world, and while Olymp gets one on the backstab, he's quickly picked away, and this round is good and done. Alliance in with a fourth, and well, the CT side of ESC will do well just to save the rifles.
Yep, and it is going to be a long, long wait there. Bomb goes down, so we've got to sit and wait out the whole timer. There's a little bit of money on a couple of these players, but I think, you know, it's on Era, and that's not really who you want to send hunting right now. So I think it's just going to be a case of maybe a little bit of a poke and a prods as they plan their exit plan, but it's very early days, but I think I could. Are you an Ancient fan, Wolfie?
Well, I prefer it to Inferno. Let's put it that way. Don't see as many of these 40-second saves. Yeah, exactly. It's not a high bar to beat. Fourth on the board for Alliance, and maybe they start thinking about Ancient early here, because they are looking much, much better across their T side. Just picking away at the pieces, not really letting ESC get any of that proactivity. You can see they've tried it as well. A couple of times now they've been fast on the flanks, but the timing's just not quite where they'd want them to be. And then out of position in the retakes. Not quite able to lock down the sights in the way they did in the previous map. Will still be forcing into this one off the back of those two saved rifles, but you can see the sacrifices already. Moonwalk, no head armor, and an XM on a map like Inferno. Got to imagine
I love it
towards the apps.
I am a big fan of this play. I don't think it's going to work, but I am a big fan of the XM. Underrated weapon. And the only person that's really walking this way is Oop. If he can find a pick onto Oop, that's good money, and it's a better weapon realistically for the situation he's involved in. Cross each other? No. Oop gets the kill.
And they'll accelerate off the back of this as well, knowing it's at most one towards the A bomb site. Twist with a lovely flashbang off Era, gets his way in. And again, it's just simple trades that are not going the way of ESC whatsoever at the moment. CT side want to give this one at least half a look in. Bajmi swings in. Spots out a little bit of information, but nothing too much, and now wants to disrespect the T-side smoke, see if maybe he can just get in ahead of the game, but it's not to be. Olymp now behind the smoke is going to look to try and save his rifle, so we'll be treated to another 40 seconds of watching not a lot of anything. T hightails it over towards B. Can't imagine Era will hunt this too aggressively, given he's AWP in hand, so fifth on the board for Alliance, looking very, very solid. And we're getting some funky animation glitches here. Dear Lord, this is fun.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, this is an angle, you know, reworked Inferno's quite pretty. I like that there's, I believe, alcohol under the desk. That's, nice little addition there. But, yeah, you're right. There's not a whole lot to say about that one. It's just been very clinical from Alliance. ESC's not been able to put anything up early rounds. There's been a lot of saving. There's been a lot of, you know, they've not been in a position financially or, you know, feasibly to go for any of these retakes. So we end up just sitting watching a little bit, very sort of VP reminiscent, but VP's at least saving a couple more weapons when they go for plays like this. Alliance, they're just shutting this down early, and the remaining player is just sat there going, you know, might as well save. The economy's getting to a point for a couple of these players that maybe we won't have to. Maybe we'll start to see the hunts coming on through, but I can see the writing on the wall. I feel a third map already.
Yeah, it's certainly seeming that way. ESC just not able to get a foot in these early rounds. Opting to start CT side, maybe their undoing. Going to try and pop into mid here. Potentially an isolated fight against Era, although holding a tight angle like this. Going to be very difficult to flush him out. Smoke goes in. CT side will look for the disrespect here, you'd imagine, and indeed they're going to group inside that T side smoke, and here we go. Era 1-for-1. Olymp's M4A1 as we take a nice angle to see the push, and the CT side are getting some progress out of it. Avid, though, with a quick double on the AK, will settle things down before they get too sketchy. Rico and Bajmi would do well to hold on to a couple of rifles here as well, just to give the CT side some kind of a leg up into the next buy. Not going to be allowed, though. All the pieces removed, a 6th on the board for Alliance, and they are speed running this T side of Inferno as much as you can.
Well, yeah, as much as you can with, you know, 40-second saves every, you know, every other round. But, I think maybe the plan here, we talked about how this is following a very similar path. 13-8, exact same scoreline as when they last played on Nuke. Actually, they want to change history a little bit. They do want to take us to a third map, but last time, this looked like it was going overtime. Well, I say it looked like it went to double overtime. And now this time, it does not feel anywhere near the same. You know, we're seeing a very dominant T side, but 5 put up for ESC last time. Whether they'll even get that seems tenuous at best.
They're going to go aggressive with it this time. Try and change the picture. Down banana. Orp of SaMey out towards long is going to be put under pressure as a result, and it's almost immediately a fast-paced play into the bracket. SaMey, though, on that AWP, chiming in with a couple towards long. Moonwalk finds his own. That Apps balcony, finally his friend, and this is much better. ESC forcing the hands of Alliance ever so slightly reminiscent of that nuke. They're going to try and fade the smoke as Moonwalk gets one. Era quick to trade, but again, he's left an isolated figure in this 1v4. The bomb is down on long. Will likely just look to hold on to that AWP because it's been some fairly expensive rounds scattered in amongst these initial successes for Alliance. They've not got a whole load of bank on the likes of Era, but more than make up for it with Avid and Twist. So Era will just look for the next 45 seconds to wander about a bit. Probably can't help himself but take a couple of peeks, and the net will get ever tighter.
It will, and it's a mercy this round, I think. We said that there needs to be something a little bit more. They got 5 rounds last time they played on this CT side. 5 is looking pretty far-fetched at the moment. It's a very nice round. That's the other thing, though, is, oh, wow, Era. I mean, gonna get caught on the jump there by Olymp. I mean, the disrespect to the no-scope's not gonna go unpunished and unchecked, but I think that it's a very clinical round. It's a very clean round to be the first round up, right? It's not scrappy. It doesn't come down to the wire. It's a pretty dominant show there, but it needs to not be an isolated affair, right? They lose another round here, their money's back in the bin for a lot of these players. Their sort of momentum's back in the bin. This really needs to be the catalyst for a little bit further. But it feels like Alliance, utility over the top, they want to fight for Banana, and they've got Poi ahead there. Smoke's double back there, so they're going to have to continue fighting on forward, and I think it's ESC. They just want to sit on their hands here. They're done with being aggressive. They know that it wasn't yielding them anything, and actually playing passively worked quite well.
Not a bad look. See the change up from Alliance, take a bit of that control away. Don't allow the CTs to control your momentum so much. SaMey rotating that AWP around to give himself another angle, but a boost over the top with a beautifully timed HE. Twist jumps up, gets away with it, dodges the bullet before he goes down. Olymp's nade will take advantage of the leg that connected to keep us level at 4-on-4, but the T side feeling confident now. Counter flash goes in. There's a T inside of this smoke. Glock out for Era, nothing doing. A little scrappy, but it's working out well for the CT side thus far. Oop has managed to slip the net ever so slightly. Just works his way into the A site, but these two remaining CTs in the boiler could well intercept the bomb or could well give their lives up entirely. This is a game of timings, and it's going to work out for ESC. Surely a third round on the board here. Oop, he thought he'd found a way in. He thought he'd thread the needle, but just not quite to be. The timing on his teammate is nasty, and now he's got to try and pick up the pieces. First kill onto Moonwalk comes in. He knows there's a lot more required where that came from, and Boiler is very shortly going to be his next issue, although Olymp's already got the backstab. A third on the board. ESC just starting to settle their nerves on the CT side, it feels.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I was going to call it the moment I see Oop and you say he slipped the net. But the issue is, my initial question was, what can he even do with this position? Now, they've got these two CTs kind of trapped in the midst of the two of them, but this is still two very isolated T-side pushes. They're not really in a position to peek together in any semblance. In the moment that, you know, that player from mid pushing up gets taken down, Oop is stranded alone with nothing really in the win condition. SaMey, oh, it is a lovely snipe down mid.
Taking advantage of the pistols.
Yeah, they are indeed, and you know, usually we'll see the T-side getting aggressive here. Olymp's already pushed all the way out. Era has something to say about the matter, but it's going to get tagged up, walks away barely. And actually, that'll be the call for them to move back. They know that being hyper-aggressive hasn't worked, so they've gone for a little bit of a peek. They've got their spoils. They don't want to overcommit and give away back in close range with what they now know are Tech 9s.
Yeah, that felt a little bit brave, and, well, this feels even more so, but a nice spray down will net Rico the double before it gets too scary. Era last up, low HP after that initial engagement, spam through the smoke, as you said, connecting a lot of damage, and Moonwalk's just going to chip away at him before it gets too scary. Fourth on the board, ESC, not quite up to the same levels they were last time on Inferno, but getting there now. Starting to just feel a little more comfortable, you think?
Slow start into it, you know, taking a second to warm into the map, and that seems to kind of be a little bit of a recurring theme for them. Is you know, 5-7, 2 rounds down at the half, and then pretty stellar on the second half. It is something that we see all too often from them. Now, it's whether Alliance can find where they're going wrong here. They've tried being, you know, a little bit more passive, walking into the traps. Hasn't worked. Oh, but there it is. Punishing the over-aggression. ESC, actually, Olymp does find a bit of a trade and is able to back away under the guise of the smoke.
Good old Inferno. Smoke spam on smoke spams. Everyone's tagged up. Nobody's really as healthy as they'd like to be, and Oop's gun gives him away. Moonwalk, an absolute gift. Spotted out Avid as he looks to creep through the smokes and catch another timing. SaMey with the wallbang connection to finish that job off. And this is looking better and better for the CT side now. Olymp still playing with fire around that smoke spam, and he's called a fairly heavy-handed rotation as well. Having spotted the bomb on the back of Twist, he sneaks into logs. I don't think there's any way Twist thinks to clear this. Surely, no, there isn't. No. It's going to be the knife as well from Olymp, just to rub a little bit more salt in the wound. Second of the series. Last man up, Era. 28 HP in a dream. 45 seconds on the clock. Bomb in no man's land. Feels like a job done for ESC. And, well, as you look across the economy of Alliance, you know, starting to think forward to the last round of the half, this one feels like it's going to be a 6-all. And in that case, an improvement from ESC.
Yeah, very much the case here. And the money is overflowing. They are tripping over themselves this round. They could be throwing AWPs out the map for fun at this point. And that's a nice position to have themselves in. They've got a weak buy to go up against. So they're bringing this back. We were looking at it. We were saying to each other, there's a very real chance this goes 3. ESC they've got something to say about the matter. If they can make this 6-6 and take a pistol, maybe a 2-map affair, but SaMey, ooh, missed shot into mid there. Oh, and missed HE as well, from bad to worse, and Twist is using this opportunity. Bajmi going to be overrun there, but he gets the transfer for both.
Dangerous position to be in with the M4A1. Limited bullets, needs a clean spray and finds it. That's the pistols down early. That's the bomb, perhaps more critically, down early. And as a result, we're going to see the CTs getting a little funky with it. Rico pushing in. Finds himself a kill to add to the tally. Leaves Era and Oop to pick up the pieces here. Last round of the half, no harm in going for it, but it's just not going to happen. Oop is toying with a play through the smokes. Nothing going their way. 6-all. ESC dragging themselves back into the fight at the half.
Sometimes you gotta pray for a victory. Yeah, I'm overzealous when I'm thinking about the cash flow. I never had no handouts, just came natural. I've been testing so much, all these wrestlers nice. All these different situations that I've been through. I seen pain trying to creep in through the window, but now I'm sliding through the hood in a benzo. You gotta separate yourself just to elevate. I keep some drink in my cup to see through the hate. Sometimes on the road to glory, you gotta press the brakes. I got a lesson plan for all my past mistakes. I swear I'm proud of all my best and my worst days. Proud of all my feet when I touch the ground. Front of ain't it Beijing, man, ain't know the sound. I know I made mistakes, but my mama proud. Fans scream my lyrics out in the background. They ain't know me then, but I'm hot now. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. Life down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. I'm faced with a lot of different choices these days. Do a rock and roll Lex account of Blueface. The whole world know my name off a mixtape. I still got the same brother since 6th grade. G-Wagon red seats, we on Biscayne. Trips to the Florida Keys, we imported these. Thanking God for the life he afforded me. All this jewelry on my body, I could light the hood. I need a brown skinned chick just like Megan Good. Holding up every promise that I ever made. Music in the background, it's a serenade. Been rapping 10 years, boy, this ain't a phase. I paid dues, paid rent, and I stayed the same. I had teardrops running down my face. I've been through a lot, I had real pain. But thank God, cause we really on a better days. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. Life down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back.
We questioned the CT start, and the ESC took a long time to get going, but they do find themselves a 6-round half. CT side of Inferno, that is not bad looking at all. Headed to the T, looking to keep the momentum of the back end of that first half up against an Alliance who, well, they need their map pick to stay in Cup 3 here. They need something a little special. 2 sets of Julies for Avid and Oop, and it's aggression from Era. It's well-timed aggression from Era. Gets his kill. Rico goes down, and now it is absolute carnage. Era somehow comes out with another before he goes down. The man advantage still there, making a double. It's falling apart for the T side. It won't be a pistol for ESC. It's 4 from 4 for Alliance.
No. We've watched this. We've watched this before, Wolfie. Because there's no bomb plot on this, which makes a force very difficult. But when have we not seen them convert that second round? And they've not got very much to go into this with, but I'm still I'm still a firm believer. I've been seeing the patterns, and they are going into the Tech 90. They've got a couple of them online.
Not as committed as you'd like. Rico's been keen of an overbuy. He's going to go for it. Olip gets at least a tech. Rico chews on 2 HEs down mid, and this round, I mean, do we need to watch, or can we just call it what it is? 2 players down. The armored tech tagged up. Job done. 8 on the board. A conversion from the Alliance. A novel idea from their CT side.
My kingdom for a conversion round. Poi, there we go. And they're keeping it pretty tight here as well. Poi's walking away, worse for wear, but still alive, mind you. Ooh, an elbow spotted there on towards Coffins, but twist. Ooh, spots the head, immediate readjustment, and now it's just Moonwalk. And sure as day, this is done. Bomb is on back, and that is about the only silver lining that we can find here. Tech 9 in hands, but it is... We're grasping at straws here, even saying that.
I mean, you'd be hoping for a miracle to get anything out of this. And they're not going to get a damn thing. Clean headshot, all 5 alive, just what you want. Lovely stuff from the Alliance. Finally finding that conversion that's been eluding them for so long. Of course, it's going to be a fairly quick response from ESC. Near enough the full eco into round 2, so they get the full buy into this one. Opportunity for those rifles to start singing and see what this T-side's really made of.
It's going to need to be something snazzy. There's a gap that is in need of closing pretty early on. What is with the chicken aggression here from ESC? They have been monster. Every beginning of the round, a chicken must be sacrificed, and maybe it's the winning formula. Maybe that's the good luck charm for them coming into this. They've taken banana control pretty successfully.
Nice flashbangs to counter in from the CT side, though, and Olymp's full blind. Nothing he can do, nothing his teammates can do either. As the retake comes in, and comes in full force. Poi on the FAMAS has a double. And this one started to fall apart again. ESC just not controlling the narrative at the minute. They've got a bit of a split into the A bomb site potentially, but with Era holding a tight angle in towards CT, it's going to be tough for them to get the cross unspotted. Timing is everything here, and Era's going to get the better of it. Moonwalk goes down, and this feels like another round that's going to pass by the wayside. SaMey does manage to get at least a consolation kill. Era is traded, but there's so much more required here to get them into this A bomb site, to get something out of this round. There's something. Bajmi at least able to trade for 1, but Avid inside of the site is up to the task. A quick fire double, 9 on the board. This is the Alliance we expected to see on Inferno.
It is indeed. It's a stellar start, and it's going to be an even further continued lead here, given that there is not a whole lot in the tank. There's a couple of smokes. There's enough for a single execute here. I'm assuming they're going to look to hopefully rush B and try find something, anything, but I doubt they will be allowed. Alliance, they do well on this round just to sit on their hands and ESC play into their trap.
Can see the reaction as well. I mean, it's a slightly sketchy smoke, but it goes down nonetheless. The early util, they've read into this that it's going to be a pop. It's just a matter of managing which direction it heads in. Chip damage from the HE is always nice. And it is going to be the play towards the apartment. Smokes come in. Counter flash is not ideal. Oop goes 1 for 1, which isn't the worst look in the world, but a counter T-side molly tries to flush him out. The CTs drop one into the apartments, and it just stalls this hit out for half a second, and that's all Avid needs. 2 lightning headshots, and as much as Rico goes 1 for 1, it's the techs inside of the site just desperately scrambling for anything. That bomb down in the middle of pit as well just makes life completely untenable. Double digits on the board for Alliance. They're really starting to come into their own here on the CT side of Inferno. Much more promising signs early on.
Yeah, very much so. And there's been nothing that ESC have really been able to find there. It's been a little haphazard. The flashbangs from the side of Alliance are something I really want to highlight, because they have been immaculate. Some of these swings, you know, poor ESC have not been able to see a damn thing. And there's got to be some sort of answer to this. They've been going pretty aggressively. Maybe try and have a little bit of a poke and prod. See if Alliance will give you the room to work it. There's also been a fair bit of utility, maybe not quite landing where you'd want to see it go. HE goes deep. Olymp is going to be limping. And Poi spots the utility, is going to back off a little bit. That's going to be all of this space over towards Card. Sandbags taken, but actually not without a fight. Smoke goes over. Poi's taking it right back, and all of this effort exerted has to immediately be rescinded.
Yeah, CT retake util top B's been stellar all half so far, just not letting anything come for free for ESC. And look at the call from the CT side of Alliance, a 4-man play to try and lock down this B bomb site. Boosted over the top. Twister's read it like a book. A free kill comes in, and as they look to try and trade it down, SaMey does all he can. A double spray keeps us level at 3-on-3, and another quick kill from Olymp starts to open things up, but there is still a player here. Oop in towards the library. Is he expected? Is he dealt with? Nope. A clean spray down comes through, and Olymp tagged up. We've seen some miracle clutches from him already. He's got time to play with here. Stutters his way around the corner. Man tucked in the pit. Oop sets himself on the off angle. This should be impossible for Olymp to cut open, but there's a potential for half a timing. Really just depends where Oop is looking and when, and he turns just in time. 11 on the board. Alliance looking to speed run a flawless CT half and get Inferno out the way.
Yeah, and I think ESC, it is going to be such a difficult fight to get back into here. There's going to be so much missing utility, especially with them opting to force Olymp and SaMey onto those AKs instead of falling back a little bit. Realistically, now or never. And maybe if this round is a bit of a loss, then the best they can hope for is the Alliance ends this quickly and sends them to that decider to really do battle, because it feels like it's got a bit out of hand. Utility goes deep, but smokes come out and they seem so hesitant to want to try and play this. I say that actually, Raiko going to walk straight on through, wants the fight, wants the smoke, and unfortunately Poi has got absolutely no time to be bothered with him. Era pushed on up. They both find their kills, and this is over.
Yeah, job done, really. Alliance looking very, very solid. Said it's a map they're incredibly comfortable on. They go to a lot of the time, and we're seeing the fruits of that labor now. 12 on the board, losing only a single man. Simple things done well from Alliance. Is not anything particularly clever or smart. The retake util is always solid. They're contesting banana control ferociously, never letting ESC get anything for free. A really, really solid turnout to the second half. Opportunity to do it flawlessly as well, as the last buy potentially comes in for ESC, and it's not the prettiest thing in the world.
No.
1 AK, 3 Galils. Ashmi's managed to take 18 damage in spawn. Just goes from bad to worse.
Yeah, it is a catastrophic start. Burning alive, Olymp goes down. Raiko's also feeling hurt. Bajme, I mean, we talked about the health gone at the start, and the HP bar goes to 0. Poi wants a little bit more. This is done. This is dusted. SaMey trying desperately to put up a Hail Mary final stand, but these two players isolated on very separate islands, and actually Uber's managed to find himself in the middle of all of this, adjusts perfectly, and now bomb on back of SaMey, but it is precious little to celebrate.
What can you expect from the AWP-turned rifle here? Hoping to pick up the pieces and, if anything, just arrest the momentum of Alliance headed into map 3. Going from bad to worse thus far. Twist sets himself deep. Knows he's low HP here. So gives himself the best possible chance on the off angle with 45 seconds on the clock. SaMey. Smoke goes down to enable the cross, and he will get away with it. On plant potentially to come through, but of course everyone knows what's up now. Everyone looks to swarm. Plenty of util and Avid as well to try and clear some of these corners if they want to use it on the CT side. Twist sent in as the ceremonial sacrifice. Low on HP, doesn't matter. Oop bails his man out. 13-6, a flawless CT half from the Alliance, looking to get map 3 done and coming swiftly as they get the job done on Inferno.
Yep, and we are going a third. We called it pretty early on in that map. Then ESC, they started to make a little bit of what is, well, we can now see a superficial comeback, but the fact that they find absolutely nothing, zilch de nada, on that other side it's harrowing, and it's a really bad precedent to set. Alliance, yeah.
They'd like to avoid putting ESC onto that T-side start again after how badly it went previously. Unfortunately for them, it's not going to be their decision. And you have to imagine that if you're ESC, you're looking at the 9-3 half you put up T-side last time these two teams met and thinking, you know what, scrap the momentum from Inferno. Let's push them to the side where we were dominant last time. Let's take some of the pressure off ourselves, build a good first half, and then look to build a series win from there.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out in a second what they've chosen to do. Actually, they've chosen to start on that CT side, and that raises maybe a couple more questions for us. We would have liked to see a T-side start, but, you know, it's not us in the server. A game plan must be had. Smoke and a kit on Olymp, just in case, but Olymp is the one taking first contact. Risky business. Smoke goes out, but they're going to completely disrespect it and try and get ahead of it. He's falling back, and he's still just being run on down. It's a little bit messy. There's team damage going into the mix, but Avid with, well, 2.5. One of which being, an assist on his teammate, but still pushing on forward. SaMey with one. Poi immediately bites back, and SaMey has to do it all here, but they're just going to divert. That bomb got dropped in towards Red Room. They're just going to hit B instead. They've got an opportunity to get ahead of this. Just get that bomb down and use Avid as a bodyguard to ensure the plant. And now, what does SaMey do?
He's in a real tough spot here. He's managed to pick up a kit at the very least, but this crossfire should essentially be unbreakable on the timing of this swing. Manages to bait out an initial shot, but not quite connecting. Now he's got to press the issue, and Twist was never going to fall for that. Alliance have their 5th pistol of this series so far, which is mental to say, but continuing their winning ways. And that one felt like both teams had a read. We see a heavy A-site stack from the CT side. And then, well, presumably off the basis of what they know, they go, right, we'll run down the man in mid. They do just that. And then from there, Alliance just able to scrap and fight their way to the kills. Again, not anything particularly pretty, not anything particularly clever, but doing your basics right, trading efficiently. ESC going to force up into the second round to try and change the picture somewhat, but the HE's raining in over the top, already taking the health of Olymp and Moonwalk down, just tagging up these MP9s before they've even had a chance to have any impact at all. It was a 5 mid play. It has gained them the initial mid control, ESC, but now they've got to start reacting, and now they've got to start wondering. We've not seen any of Alliance. Where have they got to?
Yeah, questions. Lovely spread of HP damage across the board for ESC, but they've got to find a capitalization off the back of it. It controlled so sorely under their thumb. Moonwalk gets one on him. Immediate trade out, but they line up for Era catastrophically, and Twist has spotted another in mid. SaMey's location now known. Twist activates and now knows where the last vaguely was. Actually, Oop not even wanting to try and pincer with this, just getting ready in case he does try and head towards this site. Gonna have to be a really quick adjust, dodging the bullets. Oop finds it. And a second round. Lovely start. And we talked about not wanting to see them carry on the momentum if ESC want a chance to steal away this series. Well, it looks like that has happened. And now money's not in a particularly pretty spot for ESC.
No, this is going to be a tough one. I'm not too sure about Alliance opting to swing into mid there and being met with a wall of bodies, but some fortuitous lineups. Era's double spray down. They get themselves out of dodge before it's too sketchy and buy themselves this opportunity now. A couple of Mac 10s on Twist and Poi. An opportunity to maybe look to farm up. They are going to head straight into the stack and straight into the HEs. And, well, those 2 Mac 10s are going to go down in an instant. And that opens things up now for Rico on the Deagle. 2 lightning fast headshots. And he's bought himself the golden opportunity. They won't convert the force. They'll convert the half buy instead. The Deagles ring out. The HEs chip away. These two teams really have each other's numbers here on Ancient.
Back and forth they are going, and it's a difficult one for Alliance because you think, you've bought yourself a little bit of breathing room. You've dealt with the more difficult buy, but alas, not meant to be. It means that no matter what you think the economic status is of ESC, you've still got to be wary. You've got to be doing your due diligence. Now it's a messy buy from them, throwing everything that they've got into this, but SaMey's got that all power. There is a huge difference in the weaponry, the arsenal online for both of these teams. Mid control once more. ESC have been brutal with taking it.
Gonna post up deep. Feels like, again, very similar to that first map CT side, just trying to take the pace away from Alliance, right? Dictate the pace on their own terms. Control exactly when they have to deal with this T-side offensive. Lane control established, mid control established. Admittedly against a very ugly force buy, as you said, only a couple of rifles available. This is where you can start to get a little nervous, and this is where the timings can start to come into their own. You got to keep your gun out, got to be aware of the possibility, but also need to get that util available. The trades coming out pretty nicely for Alliance so far. A brawl in towards mid lane actually comes out in their favor. The pistols again getting a little bit of something special as Era finds a 1 deke. The rifles chime in additionally. And this early control that ESC are pushing for time and again just isn't working out at the minute. They find themselves leaving SaMey in the clutch 1v2. That AWP, the big difference, as you said, between the firepowers of these two lineups, will post himself over towards B. And for now, at least, he's made the right read. The two remaining players creeping their way up the ramp. There's a bit of a timing as he adjusts, checks for the position, spots the second. Can't land the initial shot. Molly will go down. Plant denial, the name of the game. Oop, gonna stick it off the angle with a smoke to cover him, and now looks to use that smoke, shroud himself in it, and set up for the after plant. Just playing the timings, but it's the no-scope from SaMey that connects. A second round by the skin of their teeth for ESC. They are not making it easy for themselves, but they might have finally bought a little bit of a reprieve as it will be Alliance down on the half buy once again.
Yeah, a crazy shot there to close that one out. And there were a couple of moments in there that had me raising my eyebrow. You know, when they go and they peek mid, there's 3 of them. There's a flash available for Oop, and I was expecting, you know, flash around the corner. Don't just peek this dry. They peek it dry, and somehow it does end up sort of coming out even Stevens. But there's not going to be a whole lot of utility coming into this one. It's going to be Oop, the guardian of what little hope they have in that department. And, I mean, again, mid-control, just so heavy from ESC. But, boy, lovely shot to find there, and it's got him trapped.
Ugly fight. Rico's done well to take the B lane in the meanwhile, just to take a little bit of the pressure off the rest of his team. And then the counter flash comes in as well. Beautifully timed for the scaffold peak. Just when it was starting to get sketchy with Moonwalk going down, ESC able to stabilize it through Rico. A little sketchy, but the job is done nonetheless. The Rifle of Olymp takes out the last man. No bomb plant, so the economy not going to be bolstered up too much for the Alliance side of things. I mean, ESC, this is very reminiscent to some of their other CT sides, actually, especially on Nuke. Just riding on their own coattails a little bit, feeling a little sketchy around the edges. The timing's not quite as perfect as you'd like to see them being, but still just having enough individual skill and being able to ad-lib it in the moment to get away with a couple of those sketchier moments.
Yep. And seems to be a signature speciality for them. And, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I guess. Now this time, a little bit more of a fight for mid. Molotovs are going to make it very difficult. That is a lovely flashbang to deny the space. And Oop is going to take it, but Ryko pushing on out. But is being pressured from both sides here. Makes it way more difficult for them to take the space, but they still come out on top from these opening duels.
Oh, really nicely played that from Ryko. Manages to dodge back in and then plays on his teammate blowing the bottom mid smoke to know that the shoulders will be turned. They'll be looking the other way. Full advantage taken. That lane control being a real thorn in the side of Alliance at the moment. Avid just looking for any consolation kills. We'll grab a first onto Olymp. Bomb on his back as well. So definitely an alleyway for him to come out with a plant here, which would be fantastic for the economy of this T side, even with the loss bonus creeping up. Anything they can do to bolster it further will undoubtedly benefit them long term. Avid just trying to isolate the fights at the minute. Again, smoke is popped before he can do so. ESC have their 4th and just stretching their legs a little bit on the CT side, starting to come into a bit of a vein of form. Those repetitive takes of the B lane working out well for them. Rico farming his way through those. This one going to be a little uglier again for Alliance. It's the kind of round where you're not hoping for a miracle, but just looking for some damage, because again, 4 out of the 5 players are building up a little bit of a bank on ESC, and you can't afford to let that happen.
No, and a timeout being called probably to discuss just such is that, you know, a nice little start. They were going back and forth, but they really started to lose their traction a little bit now. And, you know, they've not been able to build up necessarily the same level of loss bonus just because of how much they've been playing cat and mouse with these round victories. Timeout's over now, so game plan must have been formulated. Tech 9's available, a couple of bits of utility, enough for a solid execute. And actually, we've seen Alliance catching ESC off guard sometimes with these nice little pops, these nice little plays that maybe a little bit hyper-aggressive. Meet the ESC fire with a little bit of fire of your own here. And now it looks like they are going to head over towards mid. They don't really want to let too much control go, but they're not really going to have too much saving matter. They peek through the smoke, but there's so much fire at their feet. The flashes everyone blind, and actually it's going to be only Olin walking away with a pick, but Moonwalk trapped between a rock and a hard place, bullets from all sides, and has a little bit of help from his teammate, but actually Olin goes down, so he's by his lonesome.
Yeah, hung out in bot mid just a split second too long there. Got a little sketchy, but again, the supporting caster in the perfect spot at the perfect time just to trim away before it gets too scary. That's a very dodgy CT smoke. Era takes advantage with one on his P250, but at this point, low on HP, being flanked out from behind, and Bashmi's called that as well. Wants the knife here, I think, but he's not going to get it. 5th on the board. ESC, again, a little sketchier than you'd like, sure. But up against the half bite, they get the job done. They're 5 on the board. It's just looking solid. It's nothing spectacular, but there's some nice shots, and it's very, very solid stuff from ESC.
Yeah, and I'm kind of glad, though, because the third knife kill in this series, 1 per map, would have been just disgusting. Good money, though, but to be honest with you, ESC are not exactly at a lack in that department. Guns finally back out again for the side of Alliance, and again, mid-control taken. They've really not had an answer for this. They've been having to poke and prod elsewhere, and actually, over towards B, they've got so much space to work with. It's only really Ryko. Olymp has gone down, so tension's been cooled, and you can tell they've noticed there's a little bit of a vacuum in the information. And Twist, are they going to be expecting Twist this far up? I don't think they are, because SaMey's not even looking in this direction. Now attention is turned. Ryko spamming way through the wood just to try and deny a plant, but smoke comes on out, and they're not going to get any vision on in. SaMey desperately scoping in, but he won't be able to find a pick.
Early leg, but no conversion. Now that damage starts to come to the fore, though, as Bashmi, wandering in, finds 2 quick headshots. Moonwalk with another, and Oop is left to try and defend it all. Missed first shot from SaMey, leaves a couple of isolated fights, but before it gets too scary, Rico will shut him down. A little bit of a vacuum on B, as you said, but again, that's off the back of a change-up from the CT side. A, aggression gets them an early 1-for-1. It's a nice counter call from Alliance to go fast into B, but just not able to hold on to it for too long. Not quite able to get the picks they were after, and then in the afterplant, ESC just mopping up the kills. The A aggression allowing them to be fast into position to get into that afterplant before the bomb's too far gone. It's really solid stuff again from the CT side, playing with the toys of Alliance, I guess, just toying with the timing, setting themselves up on the angles, and well, they forced the hand a little bit here. All 5 players going to try and occupy this B lane where Rico has had so much success. HE's over the top, chipping away initially, and here comes the double pump. 1 man inside of the site, Bashmi with it all to do, and he's only got a 1-for-1. So the site is open, although the retake will be lightning fast, and Rico, well, he doesn't even want to let it come to that. Through the smoke, he finds himself a double, and as soon as the backstab is called, it is shut down. Beautiful stuff from ESC.
Yep, absolutely stellar. They handled the pace perfectly. We worried that they got onto site. The fact that they're not even letting the bomb go down is really good. The reads have been really nice. And of course, that early mid presence allows them to pivot and rotate to wherever they are needed to defend so quickly. So there wasn't even a hope in hell Alliance were going to get the plant down and then have time to plant if they even got that far. So ESC, there's just been no answer to this hyper aggression. And it looks like, it's not going to stop now.
Just continuing to play at their pace. Something they really lacked on Inferno, but they're not lacking it at all here on Ancient. Just scrapping for everything they're worth. Once again, you find yourself barely 20 seconds into the round talking about the late play. Avid down low. Tucked in. Just trying to stay alive. Trying to buy some time. Spam does connect, chips away. Tickles at the feet, but nothing quite found yet. And, well, the CT side are adamant. This is going to be a B finish. We've got all our eggs in that basket, and for now it remains the right call. Alliance just hoping, I think, that by going a little slower, a little more quiet, that they might drag a rotation away. Not to be. SaMey gets the first. Trade is clean. And, well, he knows where at least one of these remaining players is. The molly will just force them into the open, though, and driving by, Olymp secures ESC's 8th.
We talked about momentum driving Alliance from one map to the next, and we saw the first 2 rounds, and we thought, oh, maybe, just maybe. But actually, if you have a look at how much money is on all of these players, it's not even been sort of difficult for them. It feels like confidence brimming from them, and they've just been unstoppable everywhere they go. You know, there's been no answer to the mid-aggression that's allowed them to pivot, and it's also given them so much information to work with these early reads. I like the idea of maybe heading over towards A. You haven't really limit tested over towards there in quite a few rounds, but so much heavy damage sustained from the HEs over on in. There's gonna be a double swing out in towards mid. They don't spot anything too early, and actually this time gonna fall back. You know what, go on, take a little bit of space, see what happens.
And gonna double flash out again. Trade comes in initially. Pretty solid position for just a split second for the T side of Alliance, but immediately shut down before they get a chance at it. Another brawl in towards mid. They try and lurk the A player, but SaMey is alive to the threat. And now with that bomb bot mid, they know what's coming. A tag onto Twist to start it off, and Bajmi will bag him. 9. We spoke about how strong the T side of ESC looked last time these two teams met. We questioned the call to start CT. I think we're seeing the reasoning now, just controlling every aspect of this half.
Oh no, Olymp. No. You cannot be feeling that confident that the auto sniper is how you want to end this half. Oh, they've gone with it. They're actually going for it.
Where's he taking it? Is it an A player? Yeah. They've not even gone A.
They've not, I mean, oh, and they're not going to be expecting, I mean, you're never expecting the score, are you?
Moonwalk again, chipping in early on. This time Rico is put down freely, but Moonwalk is just wandering around in mid with an M4A4 in hand and kills abound. There's the auto sniper chiming in. SaMey goes down. Moonwalk's out of ammo now, so he surely is killable. And finally, Era will put him down in the 2-on-2. Again, not letting them settle whatsoever. Bajmi's pushing the issue in towards mid. He's got the auto sniper set up in donut, but it won't connect its shot. And Bajmi, well, he's left 1v2. Not to be. Alliance with their dying breath forms some kind of resistance, but a 9-3 half leaves ESC in the driving seat.
The road to the top is a riddle. What will be my destiny? Money and fame are awaiting, but not enough is raining on me. Maybe I should give it all up. How much more can I take? Out here singing to the heavens. When I gonna get my break? I can run this town. Oh. I could run this town.
ESC stretching their legs here as they look to put a swift end to this best of three and book their spot in the final. Dominating across the entirety of the CT side, not letting Alliance breathe for even the briefest of moments. Question is, can Alliance make it 6 pistols from 6 and start the comeback that way? They've gone aggressive down mid is the current call. Smoke out onto A is looking to draw the CT rotations. This is an old school strat as well. Oh, everyone go A. I'll go B with the bomb. And have they read it here? Twist is starting to smell a rat, and he is wandering over towards the B bomb site as the scrap starts on A in the meanwhile. Era goes 1 for 1. That bomb is out in no man's land as the kills just keep going the way of Alliance. The plant will look to come through. Twist immediately there to try and deny, and this plan has backfired majorly. SaMey last up to try and pull off the miracle. Does catch the B lurk, and at least an initial kill for him to try and play with. Avid, his next issue, and well, it's a flawless 6 from 6 pistols from Alliance.
I will level with you. I fundamentally hate that strat. I fundamentally hate it because it's so vulnerable, right? It's a house of cards built upon a matchstick, right? Because you have one person, if they go down, then you've got no way to retrieve that bomb. The instant rotate will come over from the CTs just to gather around it. It's old school, and it didn't come into the modern day for a reason. But I mean, it doesn't even get a bomb plant. That's the worst part, is they risked it all for a biscuit and didn't even get that far. Era and Twist both find opening picks. They are making surefire quick work of this second round. There is a conversion, but in fairness, wasn't all too much to convert up against.
Yeah, thanks for that, ESC. I appreciate you getting that one out of the way quickly. Dying nice and swiftly so we can get back into the interesting stuff. AK's out, utility available. Question is, what will ESC look to do here? Did have such a dominant performance on their T side last time out. Got to imagine that they're thinking this is just an inevitability at this point. Buy is pretty decent for the CT side. A little bit of a bonus based on what they had in the previous. Only one player dying, so only one full reinvestment. It looks like it's going to be lane control early for the T side as they look to try and pile the pressure on.
Mid control this time. Alliance taking a leaf out of ESC's book, but ESC way more happy to play the extremities here. Olymp already so far pushed up, and a little bit of presence over towards B as well gives them options. They do need to make a move at some point, but time's still on their side. Alliance unlikely to really want to go hunting for too much information. They're happy just to sit on their hands here. Nice default spread.
Yeah, not as aggressive as ESC. They're happy once the initial ticks have come through to reset into a default site holder 2-1-2 split to try and lock down these two respective sites. And it's Era who starts things off. A clean kill onto Olymp, and it's actually drawn a bit of an aggressive rotation out of Alliance here, trying to change things up on the CT side, leaving a desperately isolated Twist playing front of the pillar. They've not cleared their corners just yet though, and as the util comes out, Twist screaming for help, manages to grab one. Moonwalk meanwhile has got a double out of absolutely nowhere to open things up as he backstabs in through mid to leave Era stuck in a 1v2. Moonwalk is a whisper from death and will go down. Both players now tagged up. SaMey up against Era, AWP on AWP, both with rifles. Bomb on an off-angle plant, not there for SaMey at the moment. Footsteps will give the game away. Era knows he's got to be swift about this. He's not got a lot of time. He's not got the kit, and he's not got a head any longer. SaMey cleaves it, and double digits are on the board for ESC. It's scrappy to the nines, but Moonwalk bails them out.
Indeed. And there it is, round on the board to kickstart their T side. We talked about how good of a T side they had last time. They played 9-3 half. And now that they have got the pistol out of the way, they've got the conversion out of the way, they've got guns back online. But the issue is, the buy they're going up against, it's fairly mixed. Yeah, Poise on a 5-7, but Era's on the AWP. And we talked about Era being a fundamental key component of where they've had struggles and weakness, and highlighting maybe a little bit of a difference between these two teams in regards to strengths, has been Era having a little bit of a higher rating. Actually, Era, SaMey, they've been kind of neck and neck throughout this series.
Could do with Era stepping up here. Up in hand for Alliance. on a very scrappy piecemeal buy. You need a big hero. Play into the cave is going to be tested. The double peek comes through and the 5-7 chimes in. The man advantage is found. The rifle is recovered. This is a good look for the CT side of Alliance so far. SaMey just prodding and poking at the B bomb site in the meanwhile, but Poi has repositioned cleanly. Bomb still deep in towards spawn with 50 seconds on the clock as well. ESC are going to look to just grind this one out. Kills or nothing. There's the first fight to go against them. Poi does well on the recovered M4A1 and leaves just a few moving parts to try and get something out of this round for ESC. Moonwalk, the hero of the last, is stuck in a crossfire here, and it's going to be about clearing his corners. The timing on this is everything. Grabs one, ducks back in. Twist can't find the pre-fire, so his position now known, and you can see Moonwalk knows he's got to be the hero because that bomb is so far away, but by the time he gets there, he's lost all his teammates. He's lost all hope, surely, of getting anywhere near this site. He nabs one with 13 seconds on the clock, taps the plant, baits out Oop, and finds a second from nowhere. 1v1, 7 seconds. Era, pistol in hand, tapping away, will finally shut it down. Alliance are holding on for dear life, but at the moment they are just about surviving.
Yeah, more time on the clock there. I give the opportunity to weasel out Era. There's so much chance there, but it's 9 seconds. You've either got to plant the bomb, you've got to find the pick. You're not even sure where Era is, and he spots just slightly too late. He doesn't go for the plant. Maybe he gets it, but alas, not meant to be.
Another scrappy buy for ESC off the back of it. No bomb going down, no bonuses to speak of, and well, we're going route one. We've not got the guns. We'll have a crack at A on this round. Typically a very tough site to break into, so may as well give it a crack when you've not necessarily got the firepower. Oop sets himself up on the headshot angle. And this will be the one that needs clearing. Util drops out. Here we go. Tapping away. Oop can't land the initial shot. Smoke onto the site will give him a free plant. Olymp takes the dink on the chin, but that's mission success for this round in all brutal honesty. 5v5 after plant. Any kills from here would be even better, but they've got their bomb plant. They got what they wanted. Twist deals with Moonwalk. The shadow betrays Rico, and at this point, an afterplant's looking increasingly impossible, and, well, it is. All 5 kills go the way of Alliance. The defuse comes in, 7-10. They're reeling them, back in slowly on this CT side.
Yeah, it's, if you told me when it was 9-2 that we'd see 10-7, I would, maybe laughed a little bit. But no, you're right, this T-side's fallen a little bit more flat. It was a lovely retake coming on through from Alliance, but you're right. That round mission goal, mission statement was get the bomb down, get some cash at the next round that we actually have everything that we need. They're missing a piece of utility on Ryko, but realistically, at this stage in the game, that's not going to be the end of the world. That's not going to make too much of a difference. I say that now. The lore will have it that he'll be the last left alive, and that single flashbang would have been, you know, the savior. But got to get to that point. Now Olymp taking this mid control, and we saw Alliance struggle to take the mid control on their T side. Not going to be the same problem going on.
Oh, that's too easy. Era with the double. Should have been a trade. The AWP are able to just duck away and dive back in, picking apart this offensive from ESC before it's even really begun. Olymp clearing the wrong corners is an easy kill to find for Twist. Had to gamble one way or the other and just chose wrong. Leaving Bajmi and Moonwalk to pick up the pieces of what is becoming an increasingly resilient CT side from Alliance, completely bucking the trend of the last time these two teams met. Or is it Moonwalk? A little bit of something magical. Bajmi with one more, and now Twist has got a hell of a job to do. They know he's somewhere. Surely they know where to look, but back turned. Bajmi goes down for free. Still 50 seconds for Moonwalk to play with, but that bomb safely held inside the depths of the B bomb site by Twist. Era still aware of the possibility of a long flank, has to be cautious. But it's this initial fight. Twist has had so much impact over towards the B bomb site. This time just opts to dive away. Spend precious seconds clearing back into mid. Knows that Moonwalk will have to clear him out if he thinks he is B. He's going to have to clear all these angles, and Twist He's going to take advantage, just shouldering it initially. Now they look to group up on the CT side, and now it's all on this spray. Twist gets the better of it. A monster triple from the vet. Alliance, they're making this seem realistic.
Oh, yeah, they are. We are going the distance with this one. And, I mean, it's a good showing. And I'm a little let down by ESC here. They're a slightly, you know, T-leaning team on this map. We sung their praises, and now it's kind of falling a little bit flat. It's coming down to these clutches, and they're, you know, being a bit too patient. They're clearing too much out when they don't realistically have the time. They don't have the resources. They don't have the numbers to. And you'd love just to see them get a plant to try play a little bit more contact. But no, not going to matter, and an HE to the face to kick us off.
And another to follow it up. A delayed hit into B felt like a realistic possibility, but now with everybody clinging to life, it's just done before it even starts. The HEs chip away, the rifles finish what they start, and Olymp, while he grabs a kill, it's a consolation prize. Twist is in position, ready to shut this one down, and does exactly that. Another triple kill, really stretching his legs now. And just a single round the difference. ESC have tried to keep the pace high, and all it's done is reduce the amount of time they've been in the lead for.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And a timeout probably to discuss just that. But, you know, if you take a second to listen to the crowd says 10 is all they get. And so if this keeps up, if ESC can't find an answer, because we talked about how they've been taking mid control, and that was something they were really good at on the CT side and wielded them a lot of results on the CT side. They've had a lot of mid control for free on that T side, and they haven't really been able to utilize it. And the Lions have been more than happy just to sit on their hands, just to sit on these sites, because ESC do have to make their way to site eventually. They're happy just to have a little bit of a listen, have a little bit of a poke and prod, but not be overly committal, because it means that ESC, they don't get a single opening pick.
Been a bit tough to watch, if we're being brutally honest. ESC banging on the door over and over again. The Lions have had an answer every time. Yet again, the chip damage is good. Olymp walking wounded before the round's even really begun. We want this mid control again, ESC, but once more it's the same look to the CT side of Alliance. The initial control take, and then just force ESC to use their util to come back into it, settle into your own default, and let the fight come to you. Avid, a little more proactive than others in the cave, but realistically, Alliance just happy to sit back and wait for this one. Era posted up. Hero AWP over towards the A bomb site, more than capable of holding it down, as we saw in the last round, and well, this time the pressure is going to be towards Poi, one of the underperformers, one in mid, goes 1 for 1. About all you could ask for him in that situation, and it will start to draw the rotation. Twist dives out of B, looks to pick up that red room control once again. And ESC, this is a bit of a change up. They're starting to slow things down. They're starting to group, and it is slowly causing the rotations to be drawn. Era, for half a second there, thought about diving out of A. Now he's rejoined. Now he starts to tag him up on arrival. Dink down low, needs his teammates in. Twist goes 1 for 1. Era knows that he's only a minuscule shot from death, so he's got to be so careful here. Pre-firing out of Brokey. The shot's just not quite connecting, but the trades from Oop and Avid are good. And Moonwalk is left alone. First headshot isolates, and it's all on Era. It's all on the low HP AWP. He can't get it done. Finally, ESC start to make their T-side work.
It has taken them far, far, far too long, but alas, a round does come on through. But again, it's coming down to this Moonwalk clutch, and that's not sustainable. So many rounds we've been seeing him left in this 1v1, 1v2, 1vx situation. Now, he's lucky enough that low HP on this last player, it's a doable situation, but the fact that even the round they win comes so close raises questions, raises eyebrows, and I mean, 11-9... all they need is one to break the bank here, put them on series point, and leave Alliance worse off, dreading the next. And an arm spotted by SaMey. HE's going to be chubbed on over to try have something to say, but it's not going to force Twist on out. He's just going to tank that damage.
Yeah, just a little bit of chip, nothing to really worry about. Bit of pressure over towards A as the counter call. The flashbang to get Era off his angle is nice, and well, it does isolate these fights, but it also isolates Olymp a little bit. Does very well to get one, but Poi is there for the trade. The counter is a very fast-paced rotate, putting a lot of presence in, but in mid, Avid is there to take advantage. Just in transition, these CTs are catching ESC ever so slightly unaware. SaMey now wants to get up this ramp, wants to take the fight to the CT side, but a missed shot, a dink in immediate response, and now low HP, that bomb in no man's land. SaMey goes down, and as much as Bajmi will recover it, he's on his own inside the site at the minute, tagged down by the spam to 34. He has bought an afterplant, a 2v4 to play with. The rotation of Poi a little way away as well, so perhaps a couple of seconds to try and start things off. Smoke goes into long. Looks to lock down at least one of these angles. It's going to need another hero clutch. This 4 CT players. A lurk smoke to isolate the fights. And with that bomb about halfway ticked, here we go. Moonwalk spray gets nothing. Bajmi's the same. And it's double digits for Alliance.
Oh, it's getting dangerous here. They've managed to stave off ESC finding that series point. There's still a chance to do this in regulation, but it is going to have to take all remaining rounds. 3 of them left. And there's one more buy. There's another buy left in ESC here. It's not perfect. And actually, they're leaving just enough money on a couple of these players that they could make the next slightly competitive, bring something in with them with that T-side loss bonus. But oh, what do you do? What do you do to break this endless stalemate, this cat and mouse alliance? This time, heavy into mid. Nades galore. They've expended half of their arsenal already, but they've got an ironclad grip. But Moonwalk already over towards A side. Wants something to say about this. Wants to tempt Era into a fight here, and Era's going to be tempted, but he's going to win that on out. Immediate reposition onto site. They have left Oop here just in case, but it's going to be the pivot, the swivel on over towards B, where Avid and Twist lie in wait, fingers itching to pull the trigger.
They've got the utility as well. They lock out the ramp a little while longer, and as much as this is going to be a little bit of a shock, there's still 2 players here ready and waiting. There's counter-aggression coming from Donut. The timing of this first fight is everything, and it works out beautifully for Avid. All 3 kills. Loses his teammate, but that's neither here nor there. A shutdown on B. A quad kill from Avid to lock any hope of ESC getting in out before it even starts. And Alliance are making this feel very real now. The money on a knife's edge for ESC. They will be forcing again, but these rifles just haven't been working for them.
No, they have not. And you know what? Maybe that's the recipe, right? Maybe the rifles... Okay, no. I mean, SaMey's gone up to a Galil. It's not amazing rifles. We talk about the rifles not working at the best of time, and now they're on Galil with so limited utility. Actually, a very real chance for Alliance just to take a run at these last few rounds. HE damage goes absolutely monumental. Bajmi's burning to death on the edge of the molly there. It's all just adding up. Yeah, mid-control under their thumb, but they got to do something with it. And I mean, Alliance fighting demons, seeing bullets come through walls in all various angles, but Poi, the first line of defense, the first one called to action. Is he going to suspect anybody pushed up this close? The double swing, he goes to the transfer, can't quite find it. Oop tries to step up to find the trade, but is also going to fall, and that gives ESC a way back into this.
Oh, the transition of the bomb is everything, though. Stuck in the lane at the moment, and with Twist picking off one, they have to treat it respectfully. Twist holds the key to this round now. They're going to press him. They're going to pressure him, and he can't quite find the second. Bomb now available and able to transition should it choose. Avid and Era chasing Ghosts for just a split second, and then Avid, with the timing on a mid-peak, cleaves the head from SaMey, drops the bomb as well, so information gathered. And these 2 remaining T-side players haven't got a whole lot of health to work with. Olymp down to 10. Rico looking a little more healthy on 64. The rotation has been heard. Era's going to go for the backstab here. A couple of critical timings. One is the low HP Olymp who gets the better. And now it's Rico spraying down. Can't deal with Era. Olymp on 10 HP. 1v1. Era, not a lot to work with positionally. The bomb well planted for Olymp, and there's a lot of angles to clear between A and B. He's not checking them. He's looking the wrong way. And ESC, by some miracle, find themselves on series point first.
Overtime is a terrifying possibility here because there is enough for one final bye in this one final round of regulation. And actually, to be honest with you, ESC's bye is looking the worst out of the two of them here. So yes, they get themselves onto series point first, but can they really drag themselves over the line with this?
This has OT written all over it.
I mean, you called it a couple of rounds ago, didn't you, Wolfie?
I'm just too old and wizened. I've seen it all before. 50 seasons. Long live ECL, but this is getting a bit old now. Alliance settle in. A little more aggressive than they normally go. Oop. Hanging around that bottom mid smoke a while longer. Olymp, how many times has he been had by Era here? The molly goes in. It won't fully clear out Temple. He starts to call that maybe there's an opportunity, maybe there's an option towards this A bomb site, but is it all second guessing? Is it all to pile the pressure back onto Twist on this B bomb site? Waiting out the smoke will buy time, will allow Avid to rotate in. We've seen how much he can do to lock out a site, but he's on his own this time. Rico goes, gets a free kill, grabs a second and finds his team man advantage. Bomb on site. A fast rotate already looking to come in towards the cave. Timings are going to be absolutely critical here as the numbers are punched in. Double fast flank, relatively well read by Olymp, but he's got to clear two angles at once. So which way does he look when the critical moment comes? There's one. Looks for the second on the spray and lands it, and it's all Era. A kill through smoke, all he has so far to try and keep Alliance's hopes in Cup 3 alive. It's not going to happen. ESC, they run it close. They take all of that dominance of the first half. They take every round they could possibly have, but they will be seeing Sangal in the final. It will be Alliance again, dying at the last possible step to try and make it to those regional playoffs.
Oh, you can't help but feel for them. You see a world, you see a way. The bye wasn't great. They fought so hard to get back into this, but ESC Gaming, well, they did it for the